It's the mom life.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Living in the Moment with B.
And Steph, and today we are joined by our new friend, Marybeth.
Yay, we are so excited. And so Marybeth is a wife, mom of two, part of ABQ Mom, and also has a Disney, Universal, and Caribbean travel agency. Welcome on.
Thank you. I'm so
Yay!
excited to be here.
Yes, we are so excited. And so Marybeth, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what led you to start your own travel agency?
Yeah. I am born and raised in Albuquerque. I'm a mom of two little boys, and actually, I have a daughter too that passed away right after she was born.
Oh,
Um, that can definitely be
Sorry.
another story for a different day.
Yeah.
But I'm a mom, and that has always been priority for everything I do. My kids always come first to me. So I was working from home for, oh gosh, since 2020, since COVID. And my son was a COVID baby. My 4-year old was a COVID baby. And I've been working from home since then, doing government contracting, which is crazy. And kind of the end of last year, I was laid off. And the world of government contracting right now is a little crazy.
wild.
A little, yeah, it's crazy. Definitely not something I necessarily want to get back into. So um, I have a couple of friends who started a Disney travel agency after they had been agents with a different agency for a few years, and they asked me to join. So I jumped on. I joined in February this year, and I've been doing that. I love Disney. I love Universal. I grew up at Disneyland. So that was awesome. And I've been so excited to be a part of that team. And yeah, and then I've been working with ABQ Mom. I started off as a contributor in 2022, I think, right after I moved back to Albuquerque, and started as a contributor because I love to write. And now I am the content coordinator over there. I do a lot of writing and a lot of just meeting with people in the community and making connections. And I love connecting with people. And yeah, so that's kind of me right now in a nutshell.
You in
Yeah.
a nutshell. Yes, definitely. Um, so I definitely want to come back to the Albuquerque mom stuff, but starting out on
Mhm.
Disney, I love that, your journey just kind of led you there. And it sounds like, it was just meant to be. Like, unfortunately, you were laid off, but you ended up doing something that's so fun. And I feel
Mhm.
like it's so needed because Disney can be extremely overwhelming as
Yeah.
even if you've been before, but especially if you've never been, to try and figure out how to plan, where to stay, the lightning lanes, everything that
Yeah.
comes along with it is extremely overwhelming. So that's so awesome.
My sister actually works at Magic Kingdom in Florida. So I lean on her a little bit to help me
Yeah, you have some
with some stuff
insider
if I have
information.
questions. So it's like a family thing right now. Two of the three siblings are doing Disney stuff, and yeah, I kind of fell into it, but we're taking my job loss as a blessing in disguise.
Totally.
And I wouldn't have found this, and I get to be home with my kids, which is super important to me. And yeah, it's been a good transition. It's been a little crazy, but it's been good. And I like to help people, so helping people plan a vacation, um, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Disney is so special to Steph. Quick little fun fact: she actually did her pregnancy announcement in Disney, right?
We
Oh my
did. Yeah, we did it. Disney
gosh.
World. Yeah.
That's
And
amazing.
I've never been
Yeah.
to Disney, but can you tell us
Okay.
like what are some benefits of having a travel agency? Because I'm like a type A person. I feel like I would be able to plan it all, but
Yeah.
maybe not because I've never been.
I am too. I definitely am too. I never used a travel agent for anything ever. And initially I just like asked my friend, how can I support you? But there are actually a lot of benefits in using a travel agent, travel advisor, whatever you want to call it. Um, we you can book your trip how pretty far in advance. We're booking through like almost the end of 2026 right now.
Oh
So
wow.
you can book pretty far in advance, and you can create price plans, and make payment plans so you're not paying your entire vacation, um, at the time of you can have your whole trip paid off before you even travel, which is great, I think. I also price monitor, so if there are deals that come along, and there's lots of deals for Disney Visa card holders, for Disney Plus subscribers. Um, I mean, there's law enforcement, military, um, you know, certain resident, not New Mexico, but Florida resident discounts. There's all these discounts that kind of happen throughout the year that are announced throughout the year. So if you book and one of these promotions comes out that you're available for, I can go back and give you the lower prices for your trip, um, which is definitely helpful, I think, for a lot of people. Um, it costs nothing to work with me. There's
Oh,
no extra fees included. So yeah, it costs nothing. And then we also monitor when you travel. So if you're needing to make dining reservations, those open up, like 60 days in advance. Um, you don't have to do it. I'll do it for you. I
Oh
can get
nice.
up. I'll get up early and I can make your reservations for you, if that's something you're needing. I can book your tickets. I can give you personalized recommendations. We have guides that we've put together, for all of the Disney parks, all of the Universal parks as well. So we have guides for that. That if you are very type A, it's helpful, and it kind of, I can be as involved or as hands off, as my clients want me to be. So, if you're wanting all the help, I can give you all the help. But if you just want help booking, um, and getting your dining reservations and, um, stuff like that, I can help as little or as much as needed. And I try not to bother, but yeah, I'm always happy to help, happy to answer questions. And yeah, it's really fun to see, people book and people go on vacations, and know that I was a small part of that is really exciting. So
that really is. I think that's amazing because you can feel like, okay, I booked the hotel, I have tickets to the park, and I'm going to get there at X time. But once you get in there,
mm,
it's really hard to even know, okay, what do I go
yeah.
to first? Well, this line is 90 minutes, so I'm going to go somewhere else. Well, this
Hmm.
line is 2 hours. And then you just end up, walking in circles and you don't know what to do. And you've, wasted so much time. So to
Yeah.
have a resource, someone that's been there and knows what's going on, that's
Yeah.
priceless for sure. And you mentioned actually that it's that there's no fee to work with
It is.
you.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
a business owner perspective, how does that work? Is it like a sales type thing where you're commission based from the company itself?
Yeah. So totally commission based. Disney pays me a small percentage commission, after the client has traveled.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
after the trip has taken place, and Everyone's traveled, everyone's home, then we get a small percentage commission um, from that, and it's the commission's kind of already built into all the prices anyway. So why not use the extra resource, I think. But
Yeah, for
um,
sure.
um, yeah, so it's just a commission based um, sale that we make.
And and
Well,
like and like for me, I've been wanting to plan a trip. I have one little
Mm-hmm.
boy, and I felt it so much when you said you're a mom of three, not two, because
Yeah.
we definitely honor your baby girl. I've
Thank
had
you.
some losses, yes, of course,
Oh, I'm
and so
sorry.
uh, we're all in this together. I say,
Yeah.
moms, we're such a innate pack, and so I did just want to mention that I want to honor that, but also I do want to make a trip for my son, but he's 2.5, and sometimes I tell myself, well, he's
Mm-hmm.
too young. Or what would you say is a good age to travel? Because I feel like now he wouldn't
Yeah.
remember the trip.
My oldest son right now is 4. And he took his first Disney trip when he was 2. Um, and I thought it was a great age, honestly. I
Okay.
think I think um he may not remember it, but you are going to.
you do, yeah. That's my
You get
thing.
to, yeah, you get to remember it,
Yeah.
and you get to see, like, my son has been obsessed with Buzz Lightyear for the last, I don't know, probably 3 years. And so we got to go to Florida, and he got to meet Buzz Lightyear, and he still talks
Oh,
about that. So, and it's been just over 2 years since we've been. So he still talks about the trip. I don't know if he's gonna remember it long term. Um, but we're 2.5 years later, and he still remembers getting to meet Buzz Lightyear, and he got to meet Mickey Mouse, and he got to see his face completely light up watching fireworks at night, or
oh.
parades, or Disney World has some Toy Story ride. Disneyland does too, but um, to see him get to experience all of that at such a young age, when everything is so big and magical when you're 2. So I thought 2 was a perfect age, but um, and then I always have those memories too. I don't think there's a perfect I don't think there's a perfect age to go, but I would definitely encourage you to take a 2.5-year-old, because he's gonna see everything and think it's so magical, and it's just really cool to see as a parent, and he loved it.
That
Yeah,
then
it
we
was
need to
great.
get together and we need to plan
Yeah.
something.
I will happily help you. Yeah. Yeah, and kids under 3 don't need tickets to get in.
Oh, then we definitely need
So
to get together.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
plus.
So if you're
Yeah.
if you're traveling with children under 3, yeah, they don't need a ticket. So it's a little more budget friendly than 2.
and
Definitely.
and I actually
You know
go
what's
back
really
and
cool?
forth on going, like in Halloween or going.
Hmm.
I don't know. What would you say is the best season to travel to Disney?
Oh, I don't know that there's a best season. Halloween's really cool though. If you're going to Disneyland, um, their Haunted Mansion ride at Halloween is completely changed to Nightmare Before Christmas themed Haunted Mansion, and that's really, really cool. They have Halloween parties. There are Christmas parties. So, if you guys are really into Halloween, that's a great time to go. If Christmas is more your thing, that's a great time to go. There's extra parades. And the Halloween parties start early. They start at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So you're not having to have your 2-year old out to, midnight or whatever. Um, they start super, like, relatively early in the day. Um, I don't know. There are so many. And then if you're going to Florida, Epcot always has a different festival going on. They have a flower festival, an art festival, food and wine festival. So it kind of depends on what you're going for. But I personally think Halloween's like the coolest. It's pretty cool. And they have Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween at Disney World. So it's very like kid friendly Halloween, and I love that. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
So I
It
would
sounds
It
like
was
you're
definitely
really
saying
cool
go every
to
season.
I'm
go
saying go
anytime.
every
Yeah.
season because because and then over the summer, like I want to be walking around with the margarita in hand.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
I love that too. So I don't know. It's any season is great, but definitely Halloween, Christmas,
Easter, I've even seen Easter. They go all out. So I think
they
that's
do.
cool.
Yeah, they do. I've never been at Easter, but I have seen them go all out for Easter. I know they have like Easter egg hunts and stuff like that. So they have trick or treating at Halloween. They always and they have allergy friendly treats too. So if you're taking a kid with or if you have allergies, you get special tickets and a special bag so that you don't get anything that's contaminated with an allergen. Um, so yeah, they kind of have everyone in mind, um, which I think is really awesome too. So yeah, anytime's a
That's
good
what I
time
was
to
gonna
go.
say. Disney is so family friendly. You asked,
Hmm.
what age is best. I went when I was pregnant, and I was
Hmm.
still able to get on rides, and those same rides that I was able to get on, a newborn is able to get
Yeah,
on.
truly.
And it's
Yeah,
fun stuff. It's not just these little nothing rides.
yeah, yeah,
And so yeah, it's totally like, but also an adult can be walking around with can get a drink at dinner. And
yeah.
I have a food allergy, so they're really accommodating, like everywhere you go, to be
Hmm.
very specific. And you can look online what's safe to get. They ask you. So yeah, I agree. I think any age is great. It's such a family friendly destination.
Yeah, yeah, and especially I know the allergens are such a big deal. And yeah, they're so good about that.
So,
Mhm.
what would you say is a good length of time? Sorry, my brain is going because I'm already planning. But because I've had friends go for just like the an extended weekend and they said it wasn't enough. They
Mhm.
weren't able to do anything because the lines are so long. So, what would you say is a good length of time to be there?
Man, I've always gone for like 4 or 5 days, which my husband thinks is too much. My husband is
Okay.
not into Disney, at all. uh,
Opposites attract, you know?
at all. I know. He really liked. We went to Florida. He really loved Epcot, where he could try different foods from you know all around the world and get different drinks, and like he loved that part. But he's not as into like Mickey Mouse and all of that. I think if you're going to Disneyland, you definitely want to give yourself a couple of days to check out each park because each Disneyland is great for all of the classic rides, and it's a small world and pirates and all of that. But then you go to California Adventure and they have a whole Cars Land and Radiator Springs, and like I'm dying to take my kids there, um, to see all the car stuff. There's they have all the Pixar stuff there too. So um, I would say at least 2 or 3 days at Disneyland, but then Disney World is a whole different ballgame. There are 4 different parks, and each park you could easily spend all day. There's Magic Kingdom, which is like the classic what you think of when you think of Disneyland, Disney World, you're thinking of Magic Kingdom. But then Epcot, they have food and wine, and they don't have as many rides. They have some pretty great ones though. Um, but you could easily spend a day there. We always ended up being back there every night for dinner because the food was really good and the drinks. Hollywood Studios has, a whole Star Wars themed land. And then Animal Kingdom is really cool and like really cool for kids, and especially if your kids are into like animals, and they have a safari ride that you go on, and um I don't know, I think you need
Wait,
at
safari
least a
as in real
day.
animals?
Yeah, they're real
Oh,
animals.
wow, that's cool.
They have, yeah, there's, you get in like a I don't know, kind of like a Jeep, I guess. And you drive through, and there's elephants and giraffes and lions and rhinos and like
Oh.
so many cool animals, which is really cool to see. And then they have like petting zoos there. They have walking trails with animals all over. So, but then they also have bigger rides and roller coasters there. So I don't know. I think you need a day at each park, personally. So I do like at least 4 days at Disney World and at least 3 at Disneyland. But that's just me. I could spend like every day there though. So
Yeah.
What would you say is a must pack item for a little one? That's
I think
hard, right?
anything. I know there are so many. Always snacks, but I think that's kind of goes without saying. Um, Something to keep them busy in lines, like any kind of fidget toys. Um, I think are really important to have. Um, I think I always carry around like a little handheld fan. It's like a fan and a phone charger.
1,000% that. Yes.
Because it is so hot. And my son, we went in January in Florida, and it was still so hot, and the fan still was out all the time. Um, Definitely some kind of fan or a neck fan to cool off. Um, like water bottle, obviously. I think that's something we all have all the time. But you can take your reusable water bottles into Disney. Um, I pack rain gear so that I'm not dealing with, in Florida, it's wet a lot, it rains a lot. Um, Rain gear for the littles, I think, is super important so they're not, wet and cold and uncomfortable all day. Um, but yeah, I think fan and snacks are probably the most important. And then I always bring my own stroller so that I know they're comfortable in that. So, they can nap and not have to go back to the hotel. But I
That's
like to
what's
just
really
stay in the
great.
parks all day.
That's what's really great too, though, right? Is you can take most necessities in. Is there
Yeah.
anything that they don't let you take in that you could think of that you would like have to buy in there?
I mean, not off the top of my head. You have to, there are stroller requirements. So, like, you can't take, if you have a stroller wagon or a wagon, you cannot take those.
Mm.
You can't take, like, any kind of a bag that rolls unless it's medically necessary. But really, you can take most things. You can bring in your own food. You can bring in your own water bottles. Um, you can bring in quite a bit. You have to stay in line to get in longer because you have to get searched, but you can bring in like all the necessities. It's pretty nice.
And I know we're touching mainly on Disney because we all love Disney. We're
Yeah.
millennials, we're Disney kids.
I know,
but
I know. That's my favorite too.
but you also do Universal and you also do Caribbean trips, is that right?
Yeah, I do. I do Universal as well, which I've been to Universal Hollywood and Universal Orlando. And they're super cool, especially if you're like a Harry Potter nerd, like I
Yes.
am. I think
Yes.
I think that's another like millennial, we're all Harry Potter nerds. Um or most of us are at least. Uh um yeah, I Universal's awesome. They're opening up a new park in Florida, at the end of this month, which is, it looks awesome. And I'm dying to go and take my kids. And yeah, Universal Orlando is really awesome. I do Royal Caribbean cruises as well, and Disney cruises. Um, and Disney has a lot of things that fall under the Disney umbrella. So it's not just
They own
Disneyland,
half
Disney
the world.
World, Disney cruises. I know. We have Adventures by Disney as well, which you can do. I had never heard of, but you can do like river cruises through Europe.
Wow.
That are not even like Mickey Mouse isn't going to show up, but it has the special like Disney touches. The Disney magic, the extra attention to detail and stuff like that. So yeah, there is so much that Disney owns and has to offer. But then yeah, I do Royal Caribbean cruises as well, which I'm finding are, I don't know, people love a Disney cruise too, I think. Um, I get a lot of requests for Disney cruises. Um, but Royal Caribbean too, if you don't have kids, that definitely might be preferable. Um, yeah, and Universal's fun.
And
Universal's fun. I don't know if it's as little kid friendly as Disney, but it's fun.
I was gonna say probably good for like if you're in the tween, bigger kid
Yeah,
stages. You still want to take them. They're still kids. Still want to take them to do something fun, but they're a
yeah.
little too old for Disney.
Yeah, they have a lot more of like bigger roller coasters, if that's what you're into. I know they have, Super Mario World, and they have Despicable Me stuff and Minions, and um, I think they added like Shrek Swamp and stuff, but that's not something my 4-year-old's gonna want to go to. It's
Right.
definitely, still kid friendly, still super family friendly, but not as much if you have littles. More like tweens, I think.
and so I do also want to jump into the ABQ Mom, but before we jump
Yeah.
into that, if anyone's looking to, get you as a travel agent, where can they find your stuff? Do you have a website or is it only social media?
We do have a website. Um, our company is called Something Magical Travel Company. You can find me on there. You just go, there's a link that says find your agent, and you can just go scroll through there and look for me on there. I'm also on Instagram, at Marybeth on Main Street, and Facebook as well.
And we'll
Cool.
I don't
And
know that
we'll
I'm
link
on
all of
Facebook.
that too.
Okay, yeah. I off the top of my head, do not know my Facebook. Facebook is not my favorite anymore.
Yeah, mine either.
That seems to be the case.
It overwhelms me, so I closed
Yeah.
mine a
I
while back.
know. I know. I'm on it for um for my business, and ABQ Mom has a lot of stuff on Facebook as well. So, I'm on there, but I'm not really I'm not really on it as much. It is stressful.
And so, how did you jump into becoming a content creator for ABQ Mom?
I When my husband and I first got married, we were living in Roswell, and I didn't feel like I had much of a community there. My family's not there. It's kind of a funny town to make friends in. So I didn't feel like I had much of a community, and moving back to Albuquerque, in when did we move back? 2022, end of 2021. um we moved back, and I was looking for community, and most of my friends in Albuquerque were not moms at the time. So um but I wanted my son to have friends, and I wanted a community of moms. And so I had followed ABQ Mom for a while, and they put out a call for contributors, and I applied, and I got an email that I was going to be a contributor and was super excited, and got onboarded with a group of, really incredible women, with amazing stories and backgrounds. And um, so I onboarded doing that. And, the contributors are just, everyone just writes stories or writes, articles and blog posts and content and do reels and all of that fun stuff. But I wanted to do more with them. And there was a position that opened up later that year, in I think 2022, for it's kind of changed a bit what it is, but basically the content coordinator. And so I applied for it and got the job, and I get to do all of our sponsored content, um, and meet with so many cool people and hear stories from so many amazing people who, started a school or started a restaurant, for, because their kids had allergies, um, and they just wanted a place that was more allergy friendly. Or like I've over the past couple of years just gotten to connect with some incredible people, um, and of course I still, get to see the contributor team a lot, and I work with the contributors still a lot. And it definitely has given me that sense of community that I needed. And I've just gotten to know so many incredible women, um, from so many different places that are now in Albuquerque and raising our kids. And I get to get advice from people whose kids are older than mine, or give advice and be there for, new moms. And it's really, I love what we do. I love being able to connect with moms that
Yes.
locally.
And give us a little peek behind the curtain, because for those that don't know, and this is just from the outside looking in, Albuquerque Mom is it's a big group. You guys have like 18,000
Mm-hmm.
followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
It also is branched off into a podcast, a book
Mm-hmm.
club. And it seems like it's a bunch of different moms, collaborators, group members that are all contributing to the content, because it all flows really nicely on your guys' page, but it's all clearly like, it all has its own spin. Like it's all very individual. How many people contribute to the page to make it run and help, put up those posts?
Yeah, it has grown significantly, and even since I've been on board, we started off as a mom blog, and then yeah, we've branched into being so much more than that. We have the ABQ Mom Club, um, which they have get-togethers every month, and there is a book club as well. And we host park hops over the summer. We host Moms Night Out events. So we have a team of, I think there are 49 contributors. And then we have our executive team. So, we have a couple people working sales, and we have, I'm the content coordinator. We have a social media coordinator, doing all of our socials. And then we have, a couple people working on the podcast as well. So it's a big team.
So cool.
It's
Yeah.
a big team. Yeah. And the owners are really cognizant about, they want to bring on a bunch of different people with a bunch of different stories and different backgrounds, and just to share our stories or our mom advice or recipes or kind of whatever. It's our site has a lot of different things on there. Whether you're looking for, I've done a few pieces on, being a lost mom. We have stuff on there about infertility, and just a lot of really individualized things that, our contributors, we all feel really strong about what we write, and really passionate about what we're writing. And I think there's a spot on there for everyone to find some kind of community or some kind of connection, um, kind of whatever stage of parenting you're in.
Yeah, I love your group. And honestly, had Steph and I ran into that before we started our podcast, who knows if we would have even started. We were in the same, we became new moms. We started searching for a community. I
Mhm.
think when you become a mom, you hit high gear and trying to find your village and trying to put it together.
Yeah.
And so, same thing, we wanted to build a community, and we just ran into ABQ Mom. At least I did this year. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, we're doing all the same things. Like, we're going to have to start coming to these meetings. Yeah.
There's room
Yeah,
for
because
all of it, though.
that's the point of it, right? Is to, just like
Yeah.
you said, find your tribe and find support, because motherhood is not easy. And even,
No.
past that, wife life, like we talked about before we started
Yeah.
recording, it's always something. And
Yeah.
so I love that. I love the community that you guys have built. That's amazing. And
Yeah.
does it seem to be mostly local, or do you guys get contributors from even outside of the area that want to participate?
All of our contributors are from the Albuquerque area. So Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, Los Lunas. I think we have a couple from Los Lunas. Um, but kind of we're all in the Albuquerque area, but we're all in different parts of Albuquerque, which I think also, makes us a little bit more relatable there too. That we kind of have so many different voices from different people in different areas of the city. Um, so yeah, we're all fairly local, but yeah, from different parts of Albuquerque.
Wow. Yeah, that's very exciting. And going back, is there any lesson? Because what we all do is we celebrate motherhood, but is there any lesson in motherhood in particular that helped you navigate both your businesses? So, being an ABQ mom, content creator, but also your travel agency business.
Gosh,
Besides,
I
besides patience.
definite patience. That's required most of the time because I have my boys home with me. Um,
Yeah,
so
that's
so
hard.
definitely a lot of patience. But I think you have to show up for yourself, and you have to advocate for yourself, because I think no one knows exactly what you're going through or what you're feeling, um, except for you. So you have to show up for yourself and you have to be your own advocate. And, um, some days are really hard. I've gone through, postpartum depression, um, which is a whole other story. But you have to show up and you have to be willing to ask for help when you need it. Sometimes you have to have help filling your own cup. And that's a lesson I'm trying to learn right now. Um, is just you have to show up for yourself too. I think that's important. And then you can show up for the people and the things that are important to you. But you have to be there for you too and take care of you too,
I love that.
which
We
is
I
actually,
hard.
agree.
it is so
Mm-hmm.
hard. We just did an episode on even getting lost, like, yeah, after you have kids in your marriage. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a big part of what we said is you got to make time for you still, and so that's what
Yeah.
our podcast was. I'm glad to see, that there's a whole group of moms doing that as
Yeah.
well. Um,
Yeah.
is there anything else that you want to share regarding your travel agency? Maybe something you wanted to share or missed, or even the ABQ Mom group?
Um, I don't know. I believe so strongly in moms showing up for each other and women showing up for each other. So I even if you're not going to book a trip with me or even if you're not, you know, interested in booking a trip right now, I love to connect with people and I love to connect with moms locally, and genuine connections. I'm not one to small talk. Um, I love to form genuine connections. So if you have questions or need anything from me, or just need a listening ear, like I'm someone who's always going to show up for others too. um so yeah, I even if you don't want to plan a Disney trip right now, you know give me a shout.
Yep.
I'm still
love
here for
that.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, you said
Yes.
you're
Well,
so sweet. We I was following
Thank you.
your or the ABQ mom, and I saw your stories. You did a day, right? A day in the life of, or
Yeah, we do take over Tuesdays.
okay, yes. And so
Yeah.
I was following
Yeah,
your whole day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so sweet. You can tell you wear your heart on your sleeve, and you're so
I
helpful. Like
do.
with all the questions people were
Thanks.
sending, you were asking, and I'm like,
Thank you.
oh, I can't wait to have her on.
Thank you. Yeah, I try to be really genuine. I'm never gonna. I show up as myself. I'm never gonna fake anything. Um, I show up as myself, and I try to be vulnerable, and I think that's part of having lost a child. I think that was what I learned there is I'm not, life is short. I'm not gonna be anyone but myself. I'm gonna be genuine.
and
I'm
it's
gonna show
really
up.
hard
Yeah.
to be vulnerable on the internet. So huge
Yeah.
props for you having
Thanks.
learned that, because I think we have a hard time with that,
It's
and
so
that's half the
hard.
reason we never get like or me, that's like I have a hard time finding the line between wanting to get content out and just how much of my life I actually want to share, and that's so difficult. And
The internet
I
is
love
so
that
hard.
you are open to that. It is. It's really
I
hard.
yeah, I do like genuinely show up, but at the same time, you have to guard your heart a little bit and protect yourself too. So there are days where I feel like I'm ready to be vulnerable, and there are days where I kind of have to guard my heart a little bit more, because the internet is wonderful but also horrible.
Yeah.
You can make some really great connections, but putting yourself out there is hard and
Yeah.
scary.
But you're absolutely a living testament to that, because we met you and have come across you through our friend Elena, who met you through Albuquerque
Yeah.
Mom, right? And
I,
so, like,
yeah,
it's
through
just a
ABQ Mom,
testament
and
to it works.
yeah, our kids go to school together too.
Awesome.
So yeah,
So
she's
cool.
she's great.
Yes. Well, we thank you so much for coming on. This has been so fun. And like you
Thank
said,
you.
multiple times there's been other topics that you can, bring up and can be whole other stories. So we'd love to have you on again.
Yeah, I'd love
Hopefully
to
we
come
can
back
plan
on.
something. Yeah.
Love to come back on. I'd love to be in your tribe too.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. And as always, guys, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and follow us on Instagram. We'll link all of Marybeth's information below, her travel agency info, Albuquerque Mom, her personal page, so you can find her and book your next trip. And any questions or anything, feel free to comment below too, and we'll make sure to tag her in everything.
Bye, everyone. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys.
Bye,
See you next
guys.
week.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Living in the moment, it's the mom life.